Hey guys, what is up? My name is Brienne and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with my weekly reading vlog, and this week and the following weeks will be sort of special because they will all be rereads of my favorite authors' works. So I will be rereading the entire Shadowhunter series, all of the series put together, all the Shadowhunter books. I will be rereading them all in publication order. So today I will be starting with City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, published back in 2007, I believe. So I just finished the first chapter of City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, and I am finding myself to realize I don't remember this book at all. I knew the basics of what happened in the first chapter, and all I really remembered was the demon and Isabel and the Pandemonium Club in the first chapter. I forgot that Pandemonium was an all ages bar, not really bar but club, and that, I don't know, the descriptions of Alec and Jace and Isabel were a lot different than I remember, just because I have gotten used to their older descriptions from when they've progressively gotten older, their TV versions and the movie version. And that was they're really good descriptions, but just not how I would have described them or how I remember them being described. So yeah, and I think since I read this book so long ago that things are going to be a little hazy, and I'm going to see things that I didn't see the first time, and I'm going to realize things that I didn't realize the first time, because I didn't realize Valentine was already brought up first chapter, because we don't even know who he is yet, but he's already brought up. So I will update you guys after I read chapter 2 with some more thoughts. So I have now read chapter 2, and we've met Dorothea. Well, haven't met her, but we've learned about her. She's the tenant below Clary in the same building. We get to see more of an obvious side of Simon's crush on Clary, and you hear about Simon's band and all that, and it's really, I like it. I see why I liked it when I first read it, and I think I have forgotten a lot more than I realized, because I never realized how accurate the first maybe few episodes of Shadowhunters was to the book, and how accurate the movie was to the book. But it could have been more accurate. I'm not saying it was as accurate as possible, but it could have been worse. And in the book, it seems like Clary is more oblivious to Simon's crush on her, because they're talking about his friend telling him just to ask out the girl he finds most attractive on the first day of school, and she is just like, oh, well, all of a sudden I don't want to know who he thinks it is, because if she knew he liked her, she wouldn't think like that. She would automatically know he'd try to ask her out, but not happening. So 3 is read. Chapter 3 is read. And Jace is a bit of a prick. Clary's mom's okay. Simon needs to get a backbone. He really does. If he told her how he felt a long time ago, they probably would have already been together and avoided a lot of this stuff. There's a bit of info dumping, but I think she's trying, which is really good, because this was her debut novel in the series, and it's a very intricate world, so I get the info dumping. It's normal, and I kind of like it. I actually like the book as a whole at the moment as well. I'm getting really far into it really quickly, so yeah. Chapter 4, and we have Jace. I love him in this series. I don't know why, because he's kind of just a snarky blonde teenager. But at the same time, that is always the best combination in books and in real life. But yeah, he just saved Clary's life, taking her to the institute. She's got demon poison in her veins, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how I always forgot that Jace was the one that calls her little girl, not Alec. I always thought it was Alec because in the show, it's Alec who calls her little girl. But in the books, it's Clary. It's Jace who calls Clary little girl. And I found that interesting. I don't know why they switched it because it just gives them banter. Chapter 5 is read, and there's a lot that happened. Like, you meet Hodge, you find out who Valentine was, you find out about the Accords. This is a really info-dumpy kind of chapter, but I think the way that Cassie Clare did it was actually a really good way. Like, she brought Clary in, and she's talking to Hodge, and he's explaining everything as she's asking it. And it's more of like a conversation instead of just like an info dump and like an outside thought. There are a few moments like that about Hodge, but not about stuff he says. And you find out Clary is actually a shadow hunter. Kind of suspected that and kind of knew that the second Jace put the ruin on her wrist when he saved her. But I like how nobody likes to believe him. It's kind of funny. It's like, why would he lie about her being a shadow hunter? What gain does he have from that? What else? Oh, Luke. I completely forgot that Luke had said stuff like that to Clary. Like, he told her, don't call him for help again, that he had his own problems, and that she shouldn't just call him again, ever. And I was like, wow, that's harsh. And she's only 15. Like, he goes, I'm not your father. And that is an ouch, because she looks at him like a father. And I'm like, ooh, that was harsh. This chapter was longer too, so I guess that was okay, because she woke up from the demon poison and it had been 3 days. So this chapter was a little longer. She meets Isabel. You find out about Max, the little brother. Oh my god, he is so adorable. But you don't like meet him yet. You just find out about him. I can't wait to see like exactly what happens in the next chapter, because I don't remember the full plot line. I just remember the search for the cup and receiving the cup. And that's it. That's all I remember in this book. Chapter 6 is read, and I really appreciate that Clary is still super scared of everything. Like, it's really realistic. Like, who wouldn't be scared of their mother being kidnapped, attacked by a demon, and then attacked by a Forsaken? Like, who wouldn't be afraid of that? And then you get to realize that Madame Dorothea actually knows about Shadowhunters and the Clave and all of that, and I don't remember if she's a demon right now or if she's one later. I can't remember if she's her right now or not. I think she is her right now, but I think it's later in the book that she's not. Don't know yet. So I just finished chapter 8, and Madame Dorothea is just a human at this point. She was adopted by warlocks, and she provides sanctuary for people on the run from the Clave and stuff like that. And then Jace finds a portal and Clary jumps through it. Clary is drawing cards from a tarot deck that her mother painted for Madame Dorothea, and she gets Ace of Cups. And I know this only because I've read the books before, but the Ace of Cups card actually has the Mortal Cup hidden in it. And Madame Dorothea reads Jace's tea leaves, saying he's going to fall in love with the wrong person. I don't know. because I know he falls in love with Clary, but I don't remember if he, like, has anything with anyone else. I think it might just be because he ends up thinking that she's the wrong person. I don't know. That's what I got. I just finished chapter 8, and I see why I did not like Luke. Like, I understand he's saying all this stuff just to protect Clary and her mother, but I hate him because Clary's always there when he says this stuff, and it hurts her, and I'm like, she's 15, she's such a small precious being who's scared of everything and does not deserve to be hurt like this, but she's being hurt, and it sucks. Chapter 9 is read, and part 1 is done. This chapter you find out just like little tidbits kind of about their history and the women's history in Shadowhunters, and the fact that Isabel's mom is one of the first generation of women like truly trained to fight demons, because other women who were trained before her had to fight to be trained. And I think that's a little off with her later books, because the Infernal Devices, this is a long time ago, this is in the 1800s, and the women are training to fight. And Chain of Gold, Cordelia, and Lucy are both trained to fight. But I think it's more in reference to like the Shadowhunter Academy, but I could be wrong, and it could just be like a skew of information because it was written over such a long period of time. You find out at the end of the chapter Hodge was in the circle, he helped write the oath, and that Clary's mom was married to Valentine. I just finished chapter 10. She goes to the Silent City, you meet Brother Jeremiah. I always used to think that you met Brother Zechariah, not Jeremiah, but that's whatever. And you find out the block on her mind can only be removed by the person who put it there. And that person is Magnus Bane, because that's what she sees in her waking consciousness and doesn't know it yet. But I cannot wait to meet Magnus Bane again, and I can't wait to see his flirtatious side with Alec, because that was my favorite part of these books. There's just so much sexual tension between Clary and Jace, and I don't see how... I don't know. Alec is gay, which is awesome, knew that already. I love his and Magnus's storyline, and they are going to the party. Isabel gives Clary a little makeover, and she ends up looking like her mom. So there's that. Alrighty, so I did not read at all yesterday, and so I did not vlog or have any updates. I gotten about halfway through the book the first day that I started, and let's see, I finished the other half of the book just like maybe 20 minutes ago, and I can see why I liked it back in 7th grade when I first read it, but now that I am a slightly older age group and age range, was not my absolute favorite. I did really like the book itself, and some of the stuff that was meant to be more of like suspense and surprise, like even though I knew it already, I was seeing a lot more of the obvious hints towards it and foreshadowing of it. So I also didn't like the fact that Clary herself didn't like to admit stuff to herself that she knew, but like she purposely kept herself from these big realizations that actually could have been very helpful to her from the beginning, and she kind of just created a longer, more difficult situation for herself because of that, because she was just so focused on in the moment that she didn't let her mind wander to these different things that would have brought her to the realization a lot sooner. But other than that, I give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. Like, it wasn't bad. I like the character developments on some of them. I like the character developments of Luke, even though like the third to last chapter before the epilogue was kind of just info dumping about Luke's history. Like, the entire time it's just him talking, and it doesn't even have spaces where it stops and says and like explains like he said it like this or something like that, and it's not even like conversation between him and Claire. It's just him talking. And so I didn't like that. I was like, that's really info dumpy. But it was good that I was like listening to it through audiobook, because like I could tell that it was a story too, so that was more pleasant about it. But physically reading it, I would not have liked that. And my biggest pet peeve, like when these books first came out, it was like 2007, 2008, 2009 time period. Like, what was going through his head about Clary and Jace being brother and sister? Because when I first read it, I'm like, yeah, no, they're not. They have absolutely no resemblance to each other. And an author who's like this respected as Cassandra Clare would not be able to get away with putting actual amounts of that type of incest-ish relationship into one of her first books without it being solved later on in the stories. That was my opinion. But I know I'm like, that's after the rest of her books were published, when I started reading them. So, like, I want to know what you guys thought when it first came out, because I read this like 5 years ago, so back in 2015, so it was already like out. It had been out for a long time. Please explain to me what was going through your head reading that, because I did not enjoy that part. But as a whole, I liked the book, and I want to see the more of the development of Isabel, because I did not like her at the start of this book, and I never liked her at the start of this book because she always came off as stuck up and spoiled. And Clary points that out too. But she does get to be such a better character later on down the road. And I liked the development we had with Alec at the very end of the book, because he realizes his emotions were really brash and forward with Clary, and it really hurt her. And he never meant to do that to someone. Like, he did not enjoy bringing any sort of misery to anyone. And so, like, I love the apology he gives her and the slight development and hint towards them having a friendship that furthers on. Alrighty guys, that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments section below, like, what were some of your opinions of this book when either you first read it or when it first came out? And if you haven't read it, what are some of your thoughts and worries going into it?